Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Brown Guy Does Math. Yes, I am brown, and I'm gonna do some math right now. I'm gonna do some test corrections that I got wrong on my previous AP Calc test. AP Calc test. The first question, I did all the work correctly. It's just me being me. I circled the wrong answer. So to solve this, it's asking us to find the derivative of y equals x over x plus 1 to the 5th power. So we can use the we can use the chain rule for this. So it's a composite function, and the inner function is x over x plus 1, and the derivative of that would be, if we use quotient rule, we get x plus 1 to the negative 2 power. And you can see that how I got it right here, like right here. So g of x is on the bottom, which is x plus 1, and f of x is on the top, which is x. So you have to do f prime of x times g of x, and you're left with just x plus 1 minus the x plus 1. You have to find the prime of that, which is just b1 times x. So now you're just left with x plus 1 minus x, and then you're over x plus 1 squared. And that's how you get 1 over x plus 1 squared, and that's the same thing as x plus 1 to the negative 2 power. And now the outer function is going to be the inner function to the 5th power. And the derivative of that we can find by just doing the power rule. So now the actual derivative becomes x plus 1 to the negative 2 times 5 times the inner function, which is x over x plus 1. Sorry, that's the 1 to the 4th power, because of the power rule. And now if we simplify it, we can distribute the power of 4 to the numerator and the denominator, and just multiply 5 across. You should get x plus 1 to the negative 2 times 5x to the 4 over x plus 1 to the 4th power. Now, as you can see, x plus 1 is both in the denominator and the numerator here, and we can subtract the powers or their exponents. So that should leave us with 4x to the 4, and negative 2 minus 4 becomes x plus x, well, it becomes x, sorry, it becomes x plus, 5x to the 4 times x plus 1 to the negative 6, and that's the same. And if you want to get rid of the negative exponent, you do the reciprocal of that, and now you're left with x plus 1 to the 6th power as the new denominator. And that's our answer, and that would be D right here. And that's the answer I got. I just circled E for some reason. Alright, the next question I got wrong was number 8. It's saying that if f and g are twice differentiable functions, and g of x is equal to e of x, and g prime prime of x is equal to h of x times e to the f of x, then find h of x. Now this question, I made a silly mistake again. I had the right step, I just forgot to do chain rule while also doing product rule. So pretty much we know what g of x is. G of x is, one second. G of x is just e to the f of x. Now to find g prime of x, we have to do a chain rule. E to the f of x is just e to the f of x, and what's the derivative of f of x? It's just f prime of x, right? Now to find the g prime prime of x, we're gonna have to do product rule here. So we're gonna have to do e to the f of x prime times f of x plus f of, oh sorry, times f prime of x, because this carries down, times, now what's the derivative of f prime of x? It's just f prime prime of x. F prime prime of x times e to the f of x, sorry. E to the f of x. Now, simplifying that, what's the derivative of e to the f of x? Is this. So this goes down over here again, so e to the f of x times f prime of x times f prime of x again because of product rule. And we got this here by doing chain rule, obviously from the first step over here. And then plus this, we don't have to do anything, we just carry it down because f prime prime of x times e to the f of x. And that is our derivative right here. Now we know that is being added here and both sides have e to the f of x, so we can factor out e to the f of x out of this thing. And then we see that these are common and they're being multiplied with one another, so we can write that as f prime of x squared, right, plus f prime prime of x. And that is the simplified thing. And the answer to that would be, so this is pretty much saying that f prime prime of x is equal to h of x times e to the f of x. That's the way we did it. We said we had to isolate e to the f of x, and that's exactly why we factor out e to the f of x over here. Let me do it with a different color right here. E to the f of x, e to the f of x, and then now that means this technically would count as h of x, and that is what we're trying to find. And h of x, it'd be c. Oh wait, no, it's not c. I did it again. It'd be d. The correct answer is d. All right. Now for the next one. Oh, what is this? This one is saying that, where'd it go? Oh Lord. This one is saying, so I got letter B wrong for the part 2. Saying write an equation for the line tangent to the graph of y is equal to f1 over f of x at x equals 0. Okay, so for these we need to find is the y prime, is the value of y prime at x equals 0 and the actual value of y at 0. So that is given to us. So y of 0, why am I writing here? So y of 0 is going to be 1 over f of 0, and that is saying that f of 0 is 2, so 1 over 2. So that is over y over 0. But now we have to find y prime of x, or just y prime in this case. So y prime is equal to, we're going to have to do quotient rule here. So quotient rule, we find the derivative of 1, which is 0, times f of x, minus f prime of x, right, times 1, which is just f prime of x by itself, and then the denominator gets squared. So now if we substitute in for y, if we try to solve for y prime of 0, we're gonna have to, what just happened? Well, the question is down here. I can look at it over here. Oh, y prime of 0 would be, so this cancels out because 0 times f of x is just 0, so it'd be oh god, would be negative f prime of 0 times 1 or whatever over f of 0 squared. So now we have to find what f prime of 0 is. And f prime of 0, it tells us what f prime is. So f prime is f prime of x is equal to sine of pi x plus x squared plus 3. So it's gonna be it's gonna be sine of 0 pi over 0 squared. So that's just equals to 3, because sine of 0 is just 0 and 0 squared is 0 plus 3, which is 3. So 3, and then we know f of 0 is 2, and 2 squared is 4, and that's our thing. But then we know that f prime of 0 is negative, so that this would become negative over here. So this is our slope, and this is our y, the value to 1. I mean the y of 1. So now we plug it into the slope intercept formula, which is y minus y1, which is 1/2, is equal to the slope, which is negative 3 over 4, times x minus 1. X minus x1, and x1 is just 0, so you don't have to do anything, and that is our final answer. All right, for the last one that I got wrong was part 2c. And here is saying that let g be the function g of x is equal to f of square root of 3x squared plus 4. So, and we have to find what g of 2 is, g prime of 2 is. So now we have to find what g prime of x is. So g prime of x would be, so we have to do a chain rule here. So our inner function, so there's going to be actually 2 inners and 1 outer. The first inner would be 3x squared plus 4, and the derivative of that would be just 6x because of power rule. Our second inner is going to be our first inner to the 1/2 power, because it's being square rooted, and square root you can write that as 1/2. So our inner function, to the 1/2 power, and the derivative of that would be just power rule again, and of negative 1/2, because we had to subtract by 1 here. So now our outer would just be f of our second inner, and the derivative of that would just be f prime of our second inner. Now if we just substitute in all these inners, second inner, whatever, we get, if we substitute all of them in and we find the derivative, we get 6x, our g of x as g prime of x as 6x times 1/2 of our inner function, which is for just 3x squared plus 4 to the negative 1/2, right? Times f prime of our second inner, and our second inner is our first inner to the 1/2, so it'd be just the same as square root of 3x squared plus 4. Now all we need to do is just substitute in for 2 now, g prime of 2, so it'd be 6x which is 2 times 1/2 times 3x, 3 times 2 squared plus 4 to the negative 1/2 times f prime of square root of 3 times 2 squared plus 4. And then if you So if you solve all of this, you should get g prime of 2 as 19 times 1. You get 28.5 as your final answer. And that is the final answer for that. Alright, that's it. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, do that. Thank you. Bye bye.